Ukrainian forces digging in. They say there could be even more Russian troops. I mean, what are you able to see and figure out from where you are?
Well, we got here when it was dark already, Erin. The Russian border is just a few hundred yards that way. It still is open to commercial traffic back and forth. Now, what we have seen, we've talked to some of the Ukrainian Border Patrol, and they say their numbers have been beefed up over the last few days. They say some of them are dug in on this side. They won't tell us exactly where. And we also do know that some of the civilian self-defense paramilitary militias have also come up to the border, although in the last few hours they have drawn back somewhat. We don't know where they are right now. But of course the question is as well, if the Russians were to come across to this side of the border, has the Ukrainian military actually got any fight in them? Because we know that the Russians are much more prepared, better equipped as well. And if you look at what happened down in Crimea just the other week, well, there, most of the Ukrainian troops never put up a fight. They didn't get the orders to fight from the Defense Ministry back in Kiev. And now the Defense Ministry is saying that the troops that had been based in Crimea, 75% of those actually defected to the Russians. And so if there is a fight in this area, then that fight could fall to these paramilitary self-defense militias. In fact, in Western Ukraine yesterday, we were talking to some of them there, some of the nationalist militias, and they do say that unlike Crimea, if the Russians come into Ukraine proper, they will burn the ground under what they call the invaders' feet, Erin.
So Carl, what you're saying is there could be a war here, but no fight. I mean, Russia could get a huge part of the territory where you're standing right now in cities, and essentially invade and take over part of a country without having to shed blood.
Well, that's the other problem, and this is, although there is somewhat of a discrepancy on total numbers of Russian troops just there across the other side of the border. The Pentagon puts it around, as you say, 40,000. The Ukrainian government say it's almost around twice as high as that. But what they do agree on is those Russian troops are so close to the border that they could roll into Ukraine with zero warning. There would be no heads up for the Ukrainian troops to react, and the objective of those Russian troops